Hey everyone, one of the tools that I love to use for asset allocation is permanent life insurance. If you follow this channel, you know I'm big on stocks, high risk stocks. Let's put money in it. Let's trade the charts. Let's look at it. Let's look at Fibonacci, RSI, everything. But the other thing I love to use to build wealth is permanent life insurance. And it's not whole life insurance. It's called Index Universal Life. I do want to show you something real quick. There's term life insurance and there's whole life insurance. But whole life insurance is a very old type of permanent life insurance policy. Back in the 90s, they came out with something called Index Universal Life. And I'm going to get into the details of why I like that over whole life in a second. But here are the differences with term and permanent. Temporary coverage, lower premiums, no cash value. You rent the policy. So think of term life insurance as car insurance. If something happens to you, like you die, it's going to pay out to your beneficiary. The only problem is it's only good for up to 30 years. Usually 10 to 30 years is you can get a term policy. Now, when you talk about permanent being whole life or index universal life, well, it's permanent coverage. It covers you for your entire life, up to 120 years old. Higher premiums though, it's gonna cost more than term life insurance, but it builds cash value. So I like to think of this as a fancy savings account. If I'm saving a couple $100 in a bank, great, but what if I could save a couple $100 into a whole life or an index universal life and actually get higher returns than what a bank is gonna pay me? And I own my policy. That's a big one. A lot of people have life insurance through their job. You don't own anything. That's just through your job. So I always think it's a good idea to get your own policy outside of your job, especially while you're young and healthy, to bring the cost down and to cover you in case something happens to you. Let's talk IUL though, Index Universal Life. I think this is a lot better than whole life for a couple different reasons. The first one being it's tied to a market index like the S&P 500. So you can get upside returns. The S&P 500 does 30%, you could also get 30% credited to your account, right? But if the S&P 500 does negative 30% or negative 10%, you get a market floor, you get guaranteed minimum interest rate. So you don't lose any money in your life insurance policy and the cash value component of your policy. Now there are some strategies where it's a cap maximum return, flexible contributions, permanent policy, tax deferred accumulation. So when you pull money out of your life insurance, it's tax-free, just like a Roth IRA. The problem with Roth IRAs is you can only put in $7,500 per year. With an IUL, with a permanent life insurance policy, you can put in a lot more. Again, Index Universal Life Insurance, a type of permanent life insurance, meaning it has cash value component along with a death benefit. Now I'm gonna get into alternative loans and why I like to use life insurance to build wealth, but also to borrow against myself to go invest in undervalued assets, being the stock market, cryptocurrency, or even real estate. In a way I can actually make money in my policy still. I can still build that cash value, and I can also build money in that asset, that undervalued asset. Now, I've been in the life insurance and annuity business for the last 7 years, and I think what I specialize in and what I believe I specialize in is really structuring these policies the best way for the client, buying the least amount of life insurance and maximizing how much money we're allowed to put into the plan to keep the policy 100% tax-free. Another thing you want to look at is the company you're with. You want to be with one of the best life insurance companies out there. I like 3 of them. One being Transamerica, another one being Nationwide, and the third one being Pacific Life. So every company is different depending what the client is looking for and the client's goals. They're all different. They all have different cap rates. They all have different floors. So you want to make sure that you understand what you're investing in and making sure it's properly structured for you and your family. Now, I will end this with educating you on how alternative loans work and also conventional loans, because there's people that use these policies, they put money in it every single month and they want a tax-free retirement, maybe in their 50s or 60s or even 70s, and that's great. You can maximize the tax-free cash value when you pull money out. But there's other people that want to fund these policies and become their own bank in a way. And these are people that are funding probably at least $25,000 per year. We do that over a 4 to 5 year period. You can do a lot more than 25,000 if you choose to also, but that's usually the minimum for people to become their own bank, I would say. You do that over a 4 to 5 year period, and essentially it's growing for you and you're becoming your own bank. So starting the second year, you can actually borrow against yourself. You could take an alternative loan. The company's gonna charge you 4.5% to borrow against your policy. Now it's an alternative loan, so that money is still that money that you took out is still in your policy, but you're taking it out, it's a loan. You go invest that in an undervalued asset. Now you're making money in your life insurance, right? Because it's in the S&P 500 or whatever index, and you're still making money in the undervalued asset because that asset's now going up. So this is what wealthy people use life insurance for, and it's very easy to set these plans up. If you are interested, leave a comment down below or go ahead and email me at hacklifeinsurance1@gmail.com. The last thing I'll say is if you are a parent and you have kids or you have people you take care of, you want to make sure you have some type of life insurance. Even if it's not permanent, term life insurance is a great thing that you can get and apply for and get approved for while you're watching other people, while people depend on your income. You know, myself being a father of two, that was really important to me. If something happens to me, I have multiple life insurance policies that will pay out to my family and they'll be well taken care of. So if you are a parent, that's something you want to look into, go ahead, message me, leave a comment, send me an email. It's on the screen again for you right there. We'll chat. I'll start to educate you about term and permanent, alternative loans, all this kind of stuff that you can use for you and your family in the future because it is important. I hope you guys have a great day and we'll see you on the next one.